for the home side in this one. Let's see how he gets on. Two divisions apart and two struggling teams in the league, but a chance for FA Cup progress. Everton are under exciting new ownership, but on the pitch are woefully short goals-wise. Sean Dyche sacked earlier today, leaving Leighton Baines and Seamus Coleman in charge for this one here tonight. Peterborough rarely have issues with goals, but are way off their usual standards. Wins against Counties Newport and Notts have taken them through to round 3 again. The question is, can they beat Everton for the first time and be the first headline makers of the third round? Well, it looks like Everton have changed to blue socks for this one. Peterborough, I'm sure, wouldn't have changed too many, wouldn't have brought rather too many variations of their away kit for this one, themselves normally playing in blue. Trying to bring the ball down there was Oral Mangala. Early chance for Iliman and Jai, who Peterborough are certainly going to have to be wary of here tonight. Just a gay. Stepping forward is Jake O'Brien, getting his chance in the Everton side tonight. Manu arrived, with much promise from Lyon in the summer, but hasn't had too many opportunities to show what he's about yet. No doubt Everton will have the majority of possession in this one. Peterborough, a side that have been built on young, exciting players, often plucked from non-league football. Fancy their chances if they can get an opportunity on the counter, I'm sure.
Yeah, this is all about Everton, isn't it? It's about the way they start this game with the right intensity. They've got the quality, there's no doubt about that. They're certainly a superior side. Early
chance there. They're struck with plenty of pace by Beto. Guinea-Bissau international stinging the palms of Nicholas Bilakapic and no more.
Yeah, it's a decent strike, just too straight, too easy for the goalkeeper. I mean, he just looks to try and hit on the snap there. Trezeguet was obviously slightly a little bit in his way, but manages to get off a decent shot, but straight to the goalkeeper.
All very quiet here inside Goodison. Sure, plenty of chatter down on the concourses before the game about what had gone on earlier this afternoon. And indeed, those reports that have come out since that David Moyes is one of the top targets of the new owners here at Everton to potentially make a sensational return to Goodison Park.
It'd be very interesting to see what the sort of general feeling will be from the Everton fans. Certainly after tonight's game, if this result doesn't go their way, what the response will be, the reaction, and also with David Moyes heavily being linked with a return to Goodison Park.
Donnelly playing it back, and Peterborough trying to get a touch on the ball here. By Mikolenko to João Virginia, a man who often plays second fiddle to Jordan Pickford, but here tonight gets his opportunity and will be hoping in a weird kind of way that he's not too busy.
Well, it's tough, isn't it, for a second goalkeeper? If you've got an established number one, an England international ahead of you, you know you've literally got no chances to play, or certainly only when he gets injured, or if there's the odd cup game here and there. And I think for any goalkeeper, it's about trying to stay as fit as possible and match ready, playing on the 21s, playing reserve grade games, and when given the opportunity, still showing that you are more than capable of stepping in those shoes if needed.
Jai by the Senegalese to Mangala. Patterson making a turn there is Harrison Armstrong. Such a presence in midfield, the youngster. Turns 18 later this month, actually, on the 19th. Have the ball here. They've come through 2 rounds already. They were 4-2 winners at Newport County at the start of November, then hosted Notts County at the end of November and beat them 4-3, just about coming through. By Katongo. United have been struggling in recent weeks. They're winless in their last 5 games in League One. Their last victory was in a cup competition in the EFL Trophy against Northampton Town. Their only previous meeting against Everton was in the second round of the League Cup back in 2006 when they hosted the Toffees at London Road. Tim Cahill, one of Mark Schwartz's former teammates, on the score sheet that day.
It's not a surprise, is it? I bet you it was a header as well.
3 minutes from time he secured the win. Very timely. Joao Virginia on to Branthwaite. Gay. Socks are blue under the white tights that he appears to be wearing. Interestingly, Peterborough United were trying a little bit of kidology in the warm-up. They were defending as a 4, but looks like they're settling here as a 5. They will be aware of Beto, who is a man of much media speculation right now, potentially a move away from the Toffees. But tonight Leighton Baines has him. Looks like he's the main of the 2 in charge tonight. He's standing on the edge of his technical area. So goal kick here to the away side. Slowly trying to get a few touches on the ball here.
Well, Leighton Baines will also have that a bit more experience when he is the manager. And for Seamus Coleman is someone obviously who's interested in coaching. He's still an active player, and I think the experience is what's important. But for Leighton Baines to be the one that's probably going to be, as you see, walking across to the pitch again, the one that's giving most of the instructions out.
And it goes by O'Brien Brady. Peterborough United have the youngest team in their division. That's what their recruitment's all about. They go and find the youngest players and try and be a self-sustaining club, really. Build them up to a point where they have a big value on their head and move them on. It's a summer where they lost their captain and leader in Harrison Burrows. Big problem for them at the moment is that Kwame Poku, their 10-goal top scorer in the league, is out injured for a couple of months. So it was always going to be harder for them coming here. They're also without Carl Johnson tonight, who is cup-tied for Darren Ferguson. He isn't playing in this one. Fairly quiet start here. Not too much pace in the game just yet.
Yeah, I think it's also reflective of the crowd. The crowd's pretty quiet here in the stadium in Goodison Park, and I think that's obviously with the news, what's happened to the club, seeing how their team's going to react. And of course for Peterborough, it's about trying to see if they can get a result here, a big scalp. If they can get a result here at Goodison Park, that would be pretty phenomenal, considering their league position. But we know the FA Cup, anything can happen.
For the Everton players, though, does the sacking of the manager change anything, given that he's organised the team yesterday? They know how they're going to go about this. He's just a different man who's watching on. Yeah,
I mean, look, as players, obviously you're a professional. You don't necessarily need someone on the sideline to be barking out instructions to you. But what it is about making key decisions at the right time in games. Substitutions.
Here's Njai trying to help it inside there to Beto. Comes back out to Vitaly Mikolenko. There's 2 balls on the pitch at the moment. He's eventually knocked off there by Branthwaite, but the referee, Tom Bramwell, deciding to stop play, as is ultimately his right. Well, Leighton Baines and Seamus Coleman, the 2 sat alongside one another there. Ian Wone and Steve Stone left the club earlier today as well, and Mark Howard as well, the head of sports science here at Everton. So there's going to be a big change around in staff, no matter who comes in. A big step up for Leighton Baines. He's the under-18 coach here at Everton. Very little expectation when you're coaching the youth teams in front of 100 people, maybe not even that on a Saturday morning.
Very different. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously going to be a great experience for him, but also the responsibility on his shoulders is a lot more when you're managing the first team, in and around the first team. That's what it's about. And certainly for the FA Cup, expecting to beat Peterborough here at home and progress to the next round, I think that's what's also vitally important for Everton Football Club.
Carelessly given away, Gay. Also carelessly given away. Chance to chase here for Ricky J. Jones, who is one of the speediest players around. Of interest said to be in him, the likes of Cardiff City and Middlesbrough linked with him. Michael Keane. Branthwaite. Nikolenko. Beto able to turn away. And Archie Collins slips it through, but just beyond the run there of Harrison Armstrong.
Yeah, it's a really good run from Harrison Armstrong off the shoulder. Beto's just past, needs to be better. It's a simple pass through, just completely gets the weight of it wrong. Does well initially with the turn, and then it's that pass. You've got to have better control of the ball than that.
Peterborough yet to have an attempt in this game. I'd say it might come soon through Chris Clark, but the ball didn't reach him. Beto challenged eagerly from behind there by Emmanuel Fernandez. And Jai, who can really glide across the field. Mikolenko. And Jai looking to bend one. You can see what he was trying to do. Opened up his body, looking for that far corner. But his angles were a bit off. Yeah,
when the ball goes out to Mikolenko, there's not a lot to hit in that 18-yard box. Beto wasn't on the end of the line. He does win the ball back, so he's got some distance to try and make up his ground. And then as Mikolenko gets on the ball, he's really looking to try and hit that ball first time, knows there's no option, and then goes for the cutback, and then just gets that one wrong. But he is a dangerous player. Peterborough have to be on their toes.
Seamus Coleman, of course, doesn't have any managerial experience. It's a new role for him tonight, but maybe a sign of things to come for the 36-year-old who might be heading into coaching following the end of his playing career, whenever that comes. Out at the moment with a muscle strain. Beto with the only shot of the game so far. A fairly tame one from the edge of the penalty area that went straight down the throat of goalkeeper Bilakapic. Branthwaite. O'Brien. Peterborough happy to start again. They're being cheered on by 2,976 away fans who were actually a little bit nervous, like the rest of us, I think, earlier this morning when there was the announcement of a safety inspection that was taking place at 1 o'clock this afternoon. But great work by everyone in the city of Liverpool to make sure that this game has gone ahead as planned. Gay. Mikolenko. Gay. And Jai able to wriggle free. No room for the shot this time. Feet to move away from Clark. Peterborough know their role in this game at the moment. Gay. Branthwaite. Bumping into one another, causing amusement for the travelling fans.
Yeah, no communication, none at all there from Jake O'Brien and Nathan Patterson. They're just running into each other in the end. There was hesitancy, and that's what you're going to get. Players haven't used to playing at this level together.
United staying with their back three that they changed to for the Wrexham game last Saturday as they tried to switch things around in the hope of getting themselves a positive result, but it was a 1-0 reverse for them at the racecourse. They have only won one of 27 ties against sides from the top tier in this competition. A big round 4 win against Arsenal at home back in 1965. Peter McNamee and Derek Dugan secured a 2-1 comeback win for the third-tier side as they were then. Cabbage coming out and getting involved. Has to retreat now, because here's Gay.
Yeah, Bilakapic does really well. Commands that area, that space in behind his defenders.
Late challenge there, free kick to Everton, and it might well be the first yellow card of the game as well. Kean Hayes who isn't known for his defensive ability, was the man on guard there. But as soon as that first touch came, he felt he had to make a challenge.
Yeah, if you're going to make a challenge, that's when you're going to make it. Just outside that box there, you don't want to go too early. He just slightly gets that timing wrong, doesn't he? But it is a foul, and it puts Everton in a good position here, in a dangerous position. Just got to get the delivery right and have the numbers in the box, and they could cause Peterborough some problems.
It's a free kick, and Everton have a line of 3 across the edge of the penalty area that surely is appealing here for Armstrong. I think it's asking the question as to who wants it. He flights it in instead. O'Brien across, Branthwaite sets it, eventually comes through, and a real shank there by Mangala. And a free kick to Peterborough United. Well, does that free kick sum up Everton at the moment, or what?
Yeah, I don't think they really had an idea what they're going to do in the free kick in the first place. And you look at Harrison Armstrong, he just had this look on his face of not sure where he's needed to put that ball in the box. And it was a poor effort in the end from Mangala there at the edge of the box. And I think it was a player that just completely wasn't expecting or ready for a shot.
Do you think that was the look there from Armstrong, as you mentioned, of someone who'd been told where the free kick should go but wanted to improvise?
Well, I think he actually didn't even... I don't think he was told where to put it. I think he just looked at a line of players in that box there and thinking, right, who do I hit? How do I get it in this box here? There's no real movement. There was no one really putting their arm up saying, give it to me.
Everton have failed to score in a Premier League high 11 games so far this season. 1 game fewer than in the whole of last season. The goals have really dried up for them. Actually, since the 28th of September, it's actually Wolves centre-back Craig Dawson, who is their joint leading scorer with 2 goals. He scored 2 own goals here in Everton's only win since the 19th of October. A 4-0 demolition here of Wolves on the 4th of December. That's the run they've been on. It has been really tricky. They have been drawing plenty of games in that time. Very few wins.
And ultimately, I think that's probably what cost Sean Dyche his job. I mean, I think it's still harsh. I think if you look at what he's accomplished so far since he's been at the club, all the restraints he's had, the difficulties on and off the pitch at the club, I think he's done a fantastic job. And I, for one, was very, very surprised to see him lose his job today.
Yeah, Peterborough manager Darren Ferguson saying he couldn't have done a better job in his time here, and ultimately they're 16th. They're not even in the Premier League relegation zone.
Yeah, I still am shaking my head. I can't believe the decision, and only time will tell whether it turns out to be the right one or not.
It will be interesting one day to hear the full version of the version from Sean Dyche and what exactly went on today, and maybe in the days leading to the match day as well. Cipriano, the Cyprus international here, finding Donnelly. We're trying to move the ball around with a bit of purpose here. Has to go back on here to Katongo. Bring it forward. There's Levitt from centre-back. Free kick here to the Posh. Foul by Patterson, whose opportunities have been few and far between. A man who's had pretty little game time here since joining from Rangers. He's 23 now. He's only played 85 games in his career, which isn't a lot at all, really. Spread over the time that he's been in the professional game, at least anyway. Katongo. Challenged quickly there was Donnelly.
That's what Everton need to be, more in the face of Peterborough players. Don't give them any time on the ball. They need to lift the tempo a little bit, because at the moment it's too pedestrian-like, and it's easy for Peterborough to get numbers back, build those solid foundations and make it more difficult for Everton to play through them.
Jai always loves to just drift over to this left-hand side before gliding in field. Keane. Taken down there at the top of the arm by Harrison Armstrong. Should be said there is no VAR in the competition until the 5th round. That's a new introduction this season. So football as it used to be. Beto. Trying to use his frame there to protect the ball. Gay. Things opening up for Gay. Stoppage there with a save that wasn't totally conventional. Managed to get it out nonetheless. Back in again, past Beto. And the big Australian has it this time.
Yeah, good goalkeeping in the end, coming out and commanding his 6-yard box. We'll get to see this shot again. I think it either takes a bit of a deflection or he sees it late, swerves a bit there, and I think he does really well to adjust. Yeah, he's got players diving in. He kind of mishits it, doesn't he? Idrissa Gueye and Patterson. And you can see that the goalkeeper there does really, really well. Stoppage, he does well to adjust and just throw out that right hand.
Nearly halfway through the first half already. Peterborough might not have had a shot in the game, but so far they're keeping Everton where they want them. Very few meaningful touches inside their penalty area. Tongo finds a way out into Hector Cipriano, from a youth player with Tottenham. It's a free kick.
Well, it was only one hand in his back, wasn't it? So it wasn't two. That's probably why he's asking. Maybe it was two hands. Yeah, it was a clear foul. Mangala, not quite sure why he's surprised that the referee's given a free kick against him, but gives Peterborough another opportunity. Take stock, slow the game down, and get players out of their half and look for that long ball up the pitch.
Peterborough themselves are a possession-based team normally. Only two teams in League One have had more of the ball than them so far this season. So we see a shot of the two youngs. Tyler first and then Ashley. Tyler doesn't turn 19 until June. Ashley already 39, a man who's had an amazing playing career both at home and abroad as well. Oh, Patson there, had too much on it for Armstrong. Reached that with O'Brien. Branthwaite. Perhaps a surprise to see him in the 11 tonight, given a couple of the senior players of significance have been given the night off, but Everton did only train with 16 players yesterday, so maybe it's needs must for them. They have actually named two goalkeepers on the bench. Gueye. Armstrong. This is the quietest I have heard Goodison for quite some time. Stuff for the home fans to get excited about so far. And Jai. Mikolenko hangs it high. They've got a man over here, just about away. Fired back now, and it's off the bar by Orel Mangala. He's only scored once for Everton, and had that one hit the net, he might not have scored one better.
Yeah, it was a brilliant effort, wasn't it, from the edge of the box? Gets a bit fortunate. There's a bit of confusion again at the far post for Everton. Mangala, I tell you what, that is an unbelievable strike. Very unfortunate for him that just gets a little bit high at the end there. Keeper beaten. What a strike.
Guided it beautifully. From an Everton point of view, just a touch too high. Here come Everton again. And Jai. Gueye finds that ball. It was just touched on there by the on-rushing Mangala. And through it goes to Stoppage, but slowly Everton getting closer to that Peterborough goal.
They are, and they certainly are putting more pressure on Peterborough, but still not enough movement for me. Beto was quite stationary there, as were a lot of his teammates around him. And then when you're looking for those quick, sharp little balls played in, 1-2s, you need movement. You need players to be on their toes, and there just wasn't enough players from Everton who were.
Never got that one away. Peterborough need to be a bit more dominant in possession here, because the ball keeps coming back, and they were close to scoring an own goal. Breakdown in communication between Fernandez and Stoppage. They're both relieved in the end, and that one went behind for a corner.
Yeah, you can hear Stoppage actually call for it, and Fernandez there, maybe it was a bit too late, maybe he felt that the attacker would get in front of him. Maybe he was right, needed to get his body in there. In the end, okay, it gives away a corner, but at least doesn't prevent a goal. You can see there by him wagging his finger, he believes he did the right thing.
Everton have a corner. Idrissa Gueye moves it high towards Keane, who was having his shirt pulled quite significantly there. Vistas looking to move out at pace with a long direct ball, looking for Jones. And goes through to João Virginia. A bit of encouragement from the home crowd here. Mangala. Branthwaite. O'Brien. Nice take, the ball in towards Beto. Fashion anything in the end. Trying to shield it here is Jones. And he wins a throw.
Yeah, Everton have been wasteful at times in good areas, just not either that final pass coming off, losing possession, and for Peterborough it's been relatively straightforward in defending at the moment.
Baines had a fairly distinguished playing career, a very cultured left back he was, and was great on set plays as well. Looking to forge a coaching career in the game now. This is a good shop window. Who knows how long it's going to be before Everton get themselves a new coach. Might well have a few games. Everton taking on Villa next Wednesday. It's a fair amount of time for them to get someone new in. He might not have that game, but he might be back here again. Doesn't have to go far, at least. It's the first of 3 successive home games for Everton. Keane. Looks for that long diagonal again, but it's beyond the run here of Nathan Patterson.
Yeah, at times when you probably have too much time on the ball, too much space, you know, you can get it wrong, and that happened on this occasion with Keane. Just that overhead ball, he's definitely got that one in his locker. He's got a great diag. This time he just gets that direction wrong.
Jones. First touch wasn't great. He couldn't salvage it. See the word posh emblazoned across their shirt there as they switch their badge for their away number. They're known as the Posh after Pat Tyrrell of Fletton United said they were looking for posh players for a posh new team, which became Peterborough and Fletton United. And eventually Peterborough United as we know them here today. Keane. Everton calculated in what they're doing here. Play quicker than Peterborough, that's no surprise, but at the moment in the final third they just haven't quite found that final touch. Branthwaite. Mangala. And O'Brien scooting over quickly to keep that one in play. Patterson will look to hang this high, which he does towards Njai. Tongo attacked it really well. Branthwaite. Mangala. We're frustrating Everton at the moment. Mangala. Njai. Top of the shoulder there by Armstrong, who keeps the ball moving and then goes again. He's seen off here though by a combination of Nevitt and Hayes.
Yeah, I think Peterborough will be delighted. Darren Ferguson will be delighted with the way his teams approach this first half. They've been very compact, difficult to play through. When they have had balls played through, they've generally had numbers there to try and thwart, Everton's opportunities. And for Everton, been a little bit flat, I think. A little bit disappointing in the tempo they've approached this game at the moment.
Lovely turn away there by Gay. Can accelerate forward here for Everton, but his pass wasn't great for Njai. Tongo. Peterborough's unable to get up the field in any great numbers here. Nevitt. Tough tackle there by Patterson. A few oohs and ahs from the crowd, but the referee saw nothing wrong. I don't think Darren Ferguson's too happy. Mangala. Branthwaite. Who came through at this stage last season via a replay win against Crystal Palace. Beaten here by Luton in round 4. Last winners of the FA Cup back in 1995 when they beat Manchester United. trophyless run since then. Beto again losing his feet. Play stopped here. Patson down at the moment, not looking too well. Now he's slowly back to his feet and having a go at the linesman.
Yeah, he just gets a complete body check, doesn't he? Understandably that he's a little bit frustrated with the decision, because it didn't look like there was any attempt whatsoever to try and play the ball. It was really about just preventing Patterson from making that run into the 10-yard box.
Yeah, Cipriano it was who just stood in his way. 15 minutes to go until the break. Tyler Young will be hoping to get a go at things at some point. Played in the EFL Trophy so far this season. Not sure whether he'd have been expecting to be in the squad here tonight, but Peterborough do have plenty unavailable for one reason or another. Everyone from Peterborough looking forward to seeing Gustav Lindgren, who's on the bench for them tonight after a goal-filled year in Sweden. Trying to manage his fitness levels at the moment. Of course, they play a calendar year as opposed to August to May as we play here in England. So has played a lot of football already in the last 12 months. Armstrong. Mangala. And over on the right if they want to play it. O'Brien. Armstrong. Too much on it.
Yeah, it kind of sums up Everton in this first half, really. Getting themselves in decent positions, having a lot of possession. But that final delivery in the box has been a bit wayward. Lacking in ideas, really. Not having enough players making runs, not giving you an obvious pass to play the ball into. It's about trying to just off the cuff most of the time, not really knowing how to play.
Peterborough, as Mark was saying earlier, just taking their time over every little thing here. Just trying to frustrate the home crowd that little bit more. Got out in the third round since 2020 when they lost to city rivals Liverpool. The last two times, in fact, they've gone out at this stage. They have been beaten by their big rivals from across Stanley Park. James Donnelly, only 19 years old. He made his under-20 international debut for England against Germany in November. It was a good end to 2024 for him. Better. He laid off this time, well he can, and in the end Armstrong able to adjust. Patson, not given too much room, but enough by Hayes. It was in towards Beto. Fernandez, the defender there, able to get his head on it first. It's a corner to Everton.
Yeah, this is better. This is a better ball into the box. They've got numbers, and you can see Beto there. Beto making that run towards the ball. That's the difference. Putting pressure on the defenders and then winning that corner because of that pressure.
Eight of Everton's 15 league goals this season have come from set pieces. They have one here. It's in low towards Branthwaite. Fans thought he was being held. Set back here to Mangala. Trying to take a touch before pulling the trigger. Unable to do so. Now a chance for Peterborough. The counter's on here. They've got three forward. Can they get the ball right? They might have done as well. Space opening up and Jones is in. Great block there by Mikolenko. The League One side in. Their first real opportunity of the game. And it's the left back who bails Everton out.
Yeah, played it really well, Peterborough here. The timing of the pass was excellent. You can see just the one in behind there. Mikolenko does really well. He's covering, defending. He's exceptional. He's exactly what you want from your defender. Does really, really well. And it's a big chance for Peterborough.
The only goal that Peterborough have ever scored against Everton was in that League Cup tie back in 2006. Travel striker Trevor Benjamin scored for the Posh. Chris Clark, the Northern Irishman, taking this corner. Everyone bunched inside that 6-yard box, and he's gone a long, long way. Still a chance for Hayes! Well, the Peterborough fans thought that one had gone in. Somehow it stayed out. A block right in front of the line. And it remains 0-0, but nervy times here for the hosts.
I think it was Braithwaite in the end that made that vital block. Otherwise, that's the back of the net. That's Peterborough 1-0 up. Unbelievable opportunity. The delivery in the box wasn't the greatest, but it just sort of seemed to elude everyone. Everton couldn't clear, and it falls to Peterborough. That is a big, big chance.
Just a reminder that Peterborough United are very much in this game. Well, the corner probably shouldn't have travelled as far as it did. It came through to the left wing back. It was on the right. Enough bodies between him and goal to make sure the ball didn't find the net.
Yeah, Hayes brings it down well, strikes it well. I think it takes a bit of a deflection initially. And it's Braithwaite in the end, who's just put himself in the way. Yeah, it comes off Clark. And then Braithwaite is the last one it comes off as well. Jones was there. Could have gone anywhere.
Peterborough back in possession. They'll do well not to take too many risks here, but a flag up offside in the end. George Neville was under considerable pressure there, the 18-year-old. Brought back into the starting 11 by Darren Ferguson tonight. He'd been a sub in the last round. He'd been a little bit nervous there, I think, with his centre-half standing on the ball.
Yeah, you can hear the shout from the sideline there from Darren Ferguson. Nevitt there looking over and saying a big what to the manager, which is always an interesting one as a young player, responding to your manager that way.
Especially someone with Ferguson as their surname. Free kick here to Peterborough. From their point of view, if they can get to half-time with the scoreline as it is, they'll be pretty happy with what they've done so far. This is one of 6 third-round ties where the teams are meeting for the first time in this competition. They've only met once competitively, but back in 1938 Peterborough sold 18-year-old utility player Cecil Wiles to Everton for just £350. A big fee back then, but not so much in the modern day. Stoppage takes a bit of a chance there. Well, Tottenham, West Ham, Crystal Palace and Leeds were said to be interested in him as well, but Everton actually agreed to visit Peterborough for a friendly that clinched the move in the end and won 5-2 back in 1938. Ultimately, Wiles' career was interrupted by the outbreak of World War II. Opportunities were limited for him. There's Katongo. Clark has lost it. Coming in hard there was Gay.
As this half has gone on, you can see Peterborough just growing a little bit more in confidence. They know now there's an opportunity here to try and hit Everton on the counter. They just got to make sure they get those passes right. Once they win possession, they've got to make sure they've got the runners in place, you know, and not try and take too many risks, or even also just trying to knock the long ball in hope. They've got to be very, very much in a process of knowing the right ball, playing the right ball at the right time, knowing when to hold on to it, knowing when to actually look for that long ball.
Nevitt nearly found himself in a tough situation a couple of minutes ago, gets it away simply this time. Everton have hit the bar through Oral Mangala. Jones coming close for Peterborough, and then Hayes from the resulting corner as well. Branthwaite. Mangala. No replays, this tie has to be settled here tonight. Is for sure. Gay. O'Brien. Patson. Armstrong back. In the West Derby area of Liverpool. He's a local lad, all right, he's been with the club since the age of 5. Branthwaite, lovely ball into Beto!
Yeah, great ball. Branthwaite's delivery into the box was exceptional, and you expect Beto to do far, far better there. Free header. You can see there, he jumps up just inside the penalty spot area there, but he just hits it too close to the goalkeeper. Bilakapic there, simple take for him. Beto, what a chance that is.
Seamus Coleman showing his full range of emotions there on the sideline. He'd love to be playing in this, of course. see there that they have been able to limit Peterborough in their chances, but that will have been expected of them, no matter who is in charge of this one. Everton just need that first goal as quickly as possible. Since the start of last season, incredibly, they've only scored 26 goals from open play, which is a remarkable statistic for any side. Here come Peterborough with Hayes. Cipriano. Hayes. Con Clark. He was the Player of the Year in the National League last season, the 5th tier of English football. Tongo. Dornley. Tongo back to Counterattacks. Put plenty into that. Jai manages to wriggle away from Katongo. Armstrong. Oh, threads it through, and Beto, no flag, it has to be, and is! Limited celebration. Not even too many of the fans getting up off their seats for that one. It's been that kind of day if you're an Everton fan, but they do have the lead right before half-time.
Yeah, it's a big goal for Beto there. He had an interesting half there at times. You just wonder whether or not he was going to get on the end of things. When he does, didn't really have the final end product. This time, he timed his run really well. It's a nice little ball in between. Oh, he could probably see, yeah, I think he's definitely onside there. Takes his touch, looks up, and really kept his composure. It's a really good finish.
Who knows if he'll be at the club for much longer. His first goal in 8 appearances. Clubs from Italy said to be interested in taking him back to that part of the world, but he's still wearing Everton blue, and he's done the business in front of goal for them.
Yeah, he does well, even though he gets dragged out wide by Counterattacks. He does well to come out initially to block the opportunity for scoring, but then you can see Beto there keeps his composure and scores from a difficult angle in the end.
The passion was certainly there from Seamus Coleman. Don't think Leighton Baines was buying into it too much. Stoppage to midfield. Well, Peterborough do concede plenty of goals. Perhaps no surprise that they haven't kept a clean sheet here. They haven't kept one in League One at all so far this season. They've won just one of their last 9 games when conceding first in the FA Cup as well. That's since they beat Bromley back in November 2018. They'll have to come from behind here, or at least find a leveller, maybe to take this one to penalties. O'Brien. Everton do have high hopes for him. They just haven't found a place for him in the team as of yet. And a promising future in the hierarchy's eyes. Tongo. Guide the ball away. That first touch was heavy. 90 seconds to go in normal time. Nice assist as well for Harrison Armstrong in that goal. Playing his part here tonight. Njai. Mangala, Gay, and Jai. A look over his shoulder before receiving. O'Brien. Patterson, Beto might be provided this time. It went out off him. It's a goal kick to Peterborough. We talked about that first goal being important for Everton, but they need that second one as quickly as possible now, don't they? Yeah,
they do, and it depends on how they react from this goal, and so far it just seems to be more of the same. They're not really lifting the tempo at all. If anything, Peterborough's the one that's kind of got to find their feet again. They've been rocked by the goal. They've seemed to be cruising. It was a really good ball played through from Patterson there, and Beto does well, like I said in the commentary. And I think for Peterborough now, it's just regaining your composure, get back in the game, make sure you don't concede another goal before half-time, and go into the break, look for the second half then to come out and try and push a little bit more forward then and put Everton under more pressure.
We've never won at a top-tier side, but did take Spurs to penalties in a round 3 replay in the FA Cup back in 1994, and then White Hart Lane. Leighton Baines hoping that his team aren't on the back pages tomorrow for the wrong reasons. Branthwaite. Mikolenko. Jai, give that cute ball over the top, but didn't have enough on it. Kyprianou. Stepping out quickly, was keen to make sure it didn't reach Jones. Gay. There's 20 seconds left of the 1 minute that has been allocated here. Patterson has lost it here to Con Clark. That's the look of a man who hasn't played too much football this season. Final seconds. And the last attack here for Peterborough. Jones, who's going right round the houses here and bringing the save from the goalkeeper, but will there be time to take the corner? No, there won't. That's the only disappointment for Peterborough. And what has... The other change here is at the back, as Oscar Walling comes in for Nevitt. So a double change for Peterborough United. Walling, who was actually signed from the same club as Lindgren in the summer, Degerford. 2 Swedes on at the break for Peterborough. Everton staying as they were, hoping for another positive half. They just need that second goal as quickly as possible to settle everyone down here. Peterborough have had a few fleeting moments and nothing more than that so far. Are you surprised by these changes at the break, Mark Schwarzer?
A little bit, yeah. I'm surprised, you know, with the substitution of Jones. I thought he was lively. I thought he was someone that could cause a lot of problems for Everton. That is a surprise to me, but I think with Nevitt, maybe it's something to do with that reaction that he gave to the manager when the manager called out Darren Ferguson. Maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah, not a man to cross. Maybe a man that he's made cross. Kyprianou. Made off by Con Clark. Tried to make things happen for Peterborough in the first half, but didn't really have too much of the ball in threatening areas. They'll be hoping they can get further up the field in this second period. Yeah, 3,000 travelling fans are at this end of the stadium as well. Thought they'd seen their team score through Kean Hayes, who's chasing the ball here in the first half, but was blocked by Branthwaite. Fernandez sliding in while on the ground. Keane striding forward here for Everton. Jai trying to move away, still Illiman and Jai. Patterson. It's a bit loose, but it comes through to an Everton player in Gay. Keane. Mangala. Just after this here is Armstrong, who set up the only goal. Well, Leighton Baines was saying in his pre-match interview tonight that he wanted this Everton side to put in a performance that would be befitting of Goodison Park. Do you know what he's trying to say when he says that?
Well, probably about heart, energy, intensity, something that they haven't really shown a lot of in this half, this football match so far. Yeah, they're 1-0 up, but I think they could have certainly have lifted the tempo a bit more and a bit more pressure on Peterborough at times.
Carrying it here is Donny O'Brien Brady. Turns 21 on Wednesday. It's a risky ball, helped on there in the end by Archie Collins. Here he is again, Collins. Can Peterborough do better in this second half? What do they need to do better to make sure they're in this cup tie?
Well, like this now, having a bit more prolonged time of possession to be able to create something, you know, trying to move forward, trying to put Everton a little bit on the back foot, something they haven't done too often in this game. Now there's a bit of a period of time in this second half where they seem to be doing that.
Hayes has done really well there to force the corner.
That's what they need to do, lift the intensity as well. So if they lift the intensity, put more pressure on Everton, then things could start to, you know, sort of slide a little bit more in their favour. You can see it by that action there. A little bit of extra turn of pace can cause them a bit of problems.
Con Clark with this corner. Can Peterborough United score at Goodison for the first time? In this corner they can't. Joao Virginia made it his.
Yeah, good take. It's a good ball into the 6-yard box there, and Virginia does really well. He watches it all the way and catches it. It's a great take.
From a goalkeeper who arrived here as a youngster from Arsenal back in 2018. He was captain under 21 level by Portugal as well. So he made one appearance in the Premier League for Everton. Has been their backup goalkeeper for a number of years now. Everton and Patterson. The ball in was fierce, but cleared away by Peterborough. Hayes somehow squeezes that ball through. Lindgren wins a free kick.
Yeah, Lindgren does really well. He knows he's by himself. He just needs to keep possession of the ball, try and either hold up, wait for some support from his teammates, or draw out the foul, and that's exactly what happens. Keane just gets too close to him.
Con Clark. 22 times with Altrincham last season in the National League, but stepping up 2 divisions has been a big bridge for him. He's scored in 17 games for the club now. So he's making that big move. Cipriano. Peterborough themselves last got to round 4 when they beat QPR in the 2021-22 season, but eventually lost to Manchester City in that cup run. A side that, despite being often in at least the 3rd tier, have managed to get to the third round, more often than not since the 2005-06 campaign. Only failed to get to this stage 3 times, the season before last in 2021 as well, and 2015. Darren McAntony, their often outspoken owner, a man who has his own podcast and isn't afraid to tell things how it is, does often say they don't budget for these cup games, so anything they get from them is a bonus. Patterson, great run, waiting for the cutback, and Gay it was who ran onto it, but skied it into the Gladys Street end.
Yeah, Patterson does really well down this right-hand side. Uses a lot of pace. First and foremost, has that hunger, desire to get to the ball before it goes out, then able to compose himself, picks out the pass. Patricia Gay, that's a chance. He's under a bit of pressure. I think he's a little bit more worried about possibly being collected up through that in that 6-yard box, the 80-yard box, sorry. Instead, he just takes his eye off the ball a little bit, I think.
He's only scored in the FA Cup once before. That was when he was playing for Aston Villa against Wickham back in 2016. It's been a while. This is his 2nd spell with Everton now. Been away to PSG. Surprised by the atmosphere here tonight. It is deathly silent inside this stadium. Do you think it might have been the same whether Deitch was here or not?
No, I think it would have been a little bit different. I think there's a sense of shock around Everton fans. I don't think they can believe it themselves that the manager was let go so soon, so early, or so close to this FA Cup tie. And it's a case of maybe here we go again at Everton. What possibly else could happen at this club over what's happened, compared to what's happened over the last couple of years? Just seems a little bit like shooting off the hip again.
Well, there were big rumours earlier today from a number of outlets that Jose Mourinho might be the chosen man here, a man who worked for the same ownership group in his time at Roma as well, but he's very much locked into a contract with Fenerbahce on the Asian side of Istanbul. That has been ruled out as a potential move for the Portuguese. Keane Hayes is on the move here. He managed to keep that in and win the corner. It looks like he might have done, but in doing so has fallen off the grass here onto the tarmac and might well have hurt himself.
Yeah, he does really, really well. Patterson's there, putting him under a lot of pressure, Hayes. He knows he's there. Does well to keep the ball in. Yeah, he just a bit of a heavy challenge there. Does get the corner for his efforts.
It is one of the tighter stadiums in the English footballing pyramid. Not too much runoff at the two sides. He's found to his cost there. Peterborough United may well be able to make something of this corner. Con Clark ready to deliver. He's chipped in with a trio of assists so far this season. Easily out by Better. Con Clark racing to get there. Gay committed. Throw in here to Peterborough. Plenty of goalkeepers like to wear tights these days. Were they your kind of thing or not?
On the odd occasions, playing up in the northeast at Middlesbrough, playing on a midweek game, late night game during the middle of winter. Sometimes it's also tracksuit bottoms on the odd occasion as well, because it was that cold, freezing.
Middlesbrough can be pretty chilly.
Yeah, it can be. And again, it depends also with a couple of European nights we played in eastern sort of European places, which were absolutely Baltic.
Armstrong putting on enough pressure here to force Fernandez to put it out of play. Everton have been leading 13 minutes now. That goal from Beto 3 minutes before half-time. They just want to get through any which way possible here tonight. One of 3 FA Cup games taking place this evening. Armstrong works it down the side here for Beto. So it's the wait. Patterson. He groans as that ball back had a little bit too much on it. So the Library 1-0 chant the away fans, seeing the funny side in the fan that Goodison is very, very quiet here this evening. Patterson. Armstrong. Holding, protecting, shielding. Not winning a free kick, or he has now.
Yeah, he does well in the end, because he knows he hasn't got really anywhere else to go. He's looking for support. He knows they're picked up, and he needs to try and hold on to possession, try and win a foul or even win a corner at that. Does well. I think he's got hold of the shirt, and the linesman can't see it. Even though he's right there, he doesn't see it.
So a free kick here to Everton. It is effectively a corner for them. They do have a one-man wall though. Taking one player out of the defensive equation. Patterson beats him. Good header away by Cipriano. Mangala. Keane. A position he's not too used to on the left wing. Everton with just one win in the last 11 games. They are leading here, but not massively convincing, but they are doing enough. Very much limiting Peterborough to chances at the other end as well. Peterborough side that have won just twice on their travels in the league so far this season. Where's that ball going to drop? Well, into an inviting area, but had far too much pace on it. Play paused here as the referee comes over to this near side. Baines was playing it all down a bit before the game in terms of what his future looks like, but a really good opportunity for him in the spotlight. And a shirt that's going to have to be changed here by Keane Hayes, I think because he's got a little bit of blood on it. Darren Ferguson wants his full complement back out there as quickly as possible. He's now playing without a number on his back. We all know who he is, though. He's out of position here, gifting space to Patterson. Donnelly misses his header, and Jai. Mangala. Illiman and Jai. Gay. The ball's there for Njai, and Everton might be caught out. Ingram was running sideways rather than forwards there. Gay did well to get back against him.
Yeah, he did. Gay did really well because he's right on his shoulder. He doesn't see him. Each time Lindgren looks around, also looks over his shoulder a bit, Gay was just out of that vision, line of vision, and in the end, he just timed it perfectly, prevented the counter-attack.
O'Brien. Well, it hasn't been the shot on target in the opening 15 minutes of the second half. Have you seen a different looking Everton side tonight in the way they're playing and the way that they're set up, albeit plenty of changes to the 11 tonight, but does this look like a Sean Dyche side to you in the way they're tackling this game?
Yeah, I think still very much so. I mean, obviously he selected this side, the lineup as well, so I think, or the formation.
Beto takes it back, but not picked up there. Hayes gives it away, caught out, Mangala, corner.
If anything, they're a bit flatter. They're a bit flatter than when Sean Dyche were around. I think when Sean Dyche is there, there's more of an edge to this Everton side. At the moment, there's a bit of a flatness to it, as there is in this stadium. It's very unlike Goodison Park.
Stadium where they've only won twice in the league this season in 9 home league games. Knocked down to the League Cup here by Southampton on penalties. Patterson swings that one very high indeed. Might have hit the arm there of O'Brien, indeed it did. Free kick to Peterborough. If you're an Everton fan now looking at this situation, what kind of coach do you want to walk into your football club? What qualities do they need to have?
Well, the problem you've got is what sort of options do you have? Who would be interested in the Everton job right now? The financial constraints that they've had. You know, the issues they've had off the park is something that I suppose is still an unknown, even though they do have new ownership now. Maybe that's all changed. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe there will be more money available to buy players. Do they have to sell first? And there's a whole lot of things that come to mind. And I think making that decision mid-season is always a difficult one. Letting your manager go. A manager that's had success in terms of what's the remit been? Keep them up. Keep them competitive in the league. And I think he's done all those, considering how dire the circumstances have been off the park at Everton Football Club. So to answer your question, another Sean Dyche type of character, because that's what you're going to get at the moment at the Everton Football Club.
Hayes, Brian Brady, Gatongo. Everton pinned back here for the moment. Cipriano. Start again. So from Peterborough, Hayes on, Con Clark, Hayes pointing for it, he wants it again. Got a free man far side, but Con Clark didn't attempt the long ball. And it goes by O'Brien Brady, a real chance, Donnelly. Lindgren, the debutant trying to bully his way through. Didn't have the strength to fight against those Everton defenders.
See what O'Brien Brady there had a fantastic position. He was free at the far post. Unfortunately for him, that ball just takes a bit of a bounce and quite high up in his upper torso, and he doesn't get an opportunity to find the space, get it on his foot to get a ball strike off on goal. At that time, Everton have a chance to get back and make the block, and certainly have numbers there. And you can see there, Lindgren just didn't have the space in the end.
It's under 39,000 here tonight, but Darren Ferguson's team keeping them quiet at the moment. It's a free kick here to Everton. Otto just spinning the ball off there, and Cipriano had hands on him. Changes are afoot.
Peterborough substitution coming up at this time, number 22.
Hector Cipriano, the captain, is going to make way here, so he'll hand over the armband to Archie Collins, and Ryan de Havilland is set to come on here, a man, Mark, that you know well, fairly indirectly anyway.
Yeah, my son's very good friends with him, played with him at Fulham Academy as well, a very talented player, has done well at Peterborough, more recently found himself out of the starting 11, but is an exciting young player that I expect to make an influence in this game when he comes on now.
Yeah, captain sea level for England, actually, having been signed from Barnet in 2023. He was on the books of Fulham for 11 years and has found his way into the side since October. Jai. Havilland, such a midfielder, so a fairly like-for-like change. Beto, that's a nice ball. Mikolenko was running onto it. He doesn't get too many goals. Twice a cup winner in his homeland, Ukraine. Beto's just kicked the ball away there, and that is a very silly yellow card to pick up.
I think he thought he got away with it. I think he thought the referee wasn't watching. This is Beto on the ball again. Really nice little turn and lay off Mikolenko. Mikolenko's first touch is the one that lets him down. It's in a decent position, I tell you. Could have easily have been 2-0 to Everton.
Beto, the first man to be carded in this one. Almost halfway through the second half now. Hasn't been a memorable FA Cup encounter. Peterborough will be certainly hoping that it ends that way for them, but they're going to have to be much improved in the time that remains.
I think for Peterborough it's been a little bit of lacking of self-belief, believing that they can come here to Goodison and get a result. And I think Everton certainly haven't played them off the park. They haven't taken their opportunities.
Beto, oh, he's found his feet again. Beto always seems to be slipping and sliding all over the place. In the end, it's a corner.
Yeah, his recovery is really good, Beto. He makes a good run. It's a really good ball again. It's that coming short and then spinning and making that run in behind. There's decent covering defence there. Beto just does really well to stay involved and be able to put more pressure on the ball there. Oscar Wallen was the one that made the vital interception initially. And he's got his covering defender, Fernandez, coming across, making that last-ditch clearance.
He might need a longer pair of studs. Patson goes low, travels a long way. You can see what they were trying there. It was met by Oral Mangala. It's another corner. Mangala's effort going goalward, but it was deflected behind. Patson with take two. Spoons it in there. Clark was waiting for any kind of contact to get himself a mouthful of turf, and he got it.
Yeah, Mangala again, you know, he just knows he's an experienced player. He knows he just needs to block him, to maybe put a bit more pressure on him, but not so much give the foul away. It's just an easy foul, an easy sloppy foul to give away.
Changes here for Everton. Beto is coming off, and also Harrison Armstrong. We should mention both of those two because they've had a key part in this game.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, Harrison Armstrong, I think, has done really well. He provided the assist initially to Beto's goal. Beto's been a handful, I think, for Peterborough all game. Started off a bit slow, had some big chances in the first half. Didn't make the most of his opportunities, but in the end has been the one that scored that 1-0. We see this pass from Armstrong. Nice weighted pass. Beto does well, keeps his feet, composure. The angle is quite acute in the end, but slots it home comfortably.
Away here, Armando Broja got an option to sign him from Chelsea at the end of this loan spell, which started slowly because he arrived injured, but they've got him up to fitness. We'll be hoping he gets better and better with the games that go on, and he's going to get more minutes under his belt here. Managed to dislodge Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the side, who is now out injured anyway. Missing tonight with an ankle problem. Breuer actually came off in that game against Bournemouth with a back injury of his own, but has recovered sufficiently to take part in this one.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot expected from Armando Breuer. He's someone that I think at times at Chelsea looked very, very good, just needed game time, and hasn't really found his feet wherever he's gone, whether it's injuries, lack of game time, something he needs to try and change.
Brian Brady bending that one in, and come back out here to Katongo. Brian Brady. Here's Harrison, the substitute for Breuer, who came on at the same time. It's been a big drop-off for Peterborough this season. They got to the playoff semi-finals in League One last season, having finished fourth, but were beaten by Oxford United, who ultimately went on to get promotion. Did lose top scorer Ephraim Mason-Clark at the end of that campaign as well, as he joined Coventry. With Kwame Poku out now as well, that's two big creative forces they're missing from last season's team. Patson. Part of the footballing fairy tale, we understand it's about to happen, with Ashley Young set to come on. Son Tyler on the bench for Peterborough as well, though I'm not sure Darren Ferguson will be too willing to throw him on yet. Jai wins yet another Everton corner. Jada Katongo has gone down injured as well for Peterborough. Looks like it's a touch of cramp for him.
Yeah, he was down a little while ago, struggling as well, so now seeing an opportunity to take a bit of a breather and hopefully get it sorted out, just so he can stay on the pitch a bit longer.
Position player helping him. Players don't really like the physios coming on these days, because they do have to go off for a 30-second period. It looks like Katongo is going to take some kind of energy liquid there as well, presumably.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, because once those cramps start, it's very difficult to prevent them from continuing and getting worse. So I'll be interested to see how long he's able to stay on the pitch.
Ashley Young ready and waiting. He's taken part in so many FA Cup campaigns. Young junior having to wait his turn. Actually on the books of Arsenal until this summer, when he moved to Peterborough. Katongo okay for now, as Mark was saying. We'll see how long it lasts for. Peterborough United down to 10. They're a goal down in this one as well, with 18 minutes left on the clock. Second goal for Everton here would surely seal this tie. Harrison pulls it back though, and Keane miscued, and Breuer over.
Oh, it's another big chance for Everton. Keane, when that ball came to him, you just fancied him getting the right connection on that ball. In the end, I think he just slightly overruns it.
Would Michael Keane be the kind of player you'd expect to be running onto that kind of pass?
I've seen him strike some really good balls in the past as well, so I still fancy him to get a good strike on that, and unfortunately for him, he just slightly overrun it.
So Ashley Young comes on. It's a withdrawal of Nathan Patson here. Young 39 now. Quite a fantastic career he's had. It's actually his first appearance in the FA Cup in 5 years. Hasn't appeared since January of 2020 for one reason or another. He's been away, of course, time in Italy with Inter. And Peterborough fans seeing the funny side and saying you're just a rubbish Tyler Young. There he goes to get warm. Meanwhile, the referee has stopped play here because of a foul throw. Basics from Peterborough. Apologies if you picked up any bad language there. I think they were the Scottish tones of Darren Ferguson.
Yeah, he's trying to lift his team feels that some players may not be at the level they need to be at this moment in time.
His own way of motivation. It's a nice ball. He's Young. His first involvement just behind Breuer. Mangala has hit the bar already. Young has a great delivery on him. Harrison. Jai. Harrison is looking for that killer pass. And we'll have to wait. Mykolenko. Harrison. Offside. Disappointing end to a promising looking move for Everton.
Yeah, certainly got a bit more mobility down the flanks now. Jack Harrison on Ashley Young, certainly more of a threat. It's whether or not they can make the possession that they have in those areas count in these latter stages of this game. Try and give themselves a bit of breathing space between them and Peterborough. Otherwise, there's always that threat. You never know. One moment, one opportunity for Peterborough, and they may take it.
Kasongo. His second loan spell with Peterborough. He was also on loan at the Posh last season from Manchester City. His academy continues to produce some of the top talents in the country. Harrison. Straight into Archie Collins there. It's an Everton throw. There is no rush to take it here either. Harrison receiving it probably a bit too easily there from a Peterborough point of view. They do have the ball back now. Peterborough scored 4 goals in their last 2 FA Cup away games. Get to find the net here. They're going to change things and send on Abraham Odo. Summer signing from Harrogate. Dornley goes off. Odo, a left winger, scored in both round 1 and round 2. Peter will be hoping he can make some kind of tangible difference in this in the time that remains. Some of the home fans getting a bit annoyed there that Peterborough were taking their time with that throw, but it's their own time that they're essentially wasting. It is they who are chasing this game. You see the thousands of Everton fans piled underneath the stand that hangs over the top of the lower tier there. They'll be having significantly better views at the new stadium at Bramley Moor Docks that will hold 53,000 Evertonians. The stadium they're due to move into across the summer. Harrison. Lovely touch, great feet, and Jai checked inside, probably to try and bend it on his left side towards that far corner, but the chance never materialised. I think one thing that this game, Mark Shorter, has demonstrated to us all, that as bad as Everton might have been this season, there is a huge gulf between the leagues.
Yes, there are, and I think you know, Everton, I think, obviously haven't got the results. They haven't been all that bad. The results obviously haven't helped them, and ultimately that's what you're judged on, and that's what the table doesn't lie. But they've definitely got some talented players in their squad. But yeah, between Peterborough and themselves, Peterborough's side who are lacking in confidence, there is a big gap.
Mykolenko nearly managed to squeeze it there to Njai. They'll try again with Branthwaite. Mangala. Peterborough, as you can see, playing tight. They're compact here, trying to force Everton into wide areas, as they did there, but Mykolenko unable to keep that one in play.
Yeah, it's a point now in the game where Peterborough are going to have to start to look to take chances. I mean, it is an FA Cup game. It's just a one-off. They need to try and get a result on the night, try and win this game, try to at the very least get back in the game. And they're going to have to start taking risks, and that's where the game will open up.
Such a big week of cup football for Peterborough, who have Walsall at home in the round of 16 of the Virtue Trophy on Tuesday. Walsall currently top of League Two. Sample teams from the top and bottom of the English professional leagues over the course of the next few days. Hayes, can he force it in there? He can. Peterborough haven't had players in the right areas to make those opportunities count, and a free kick conceded by de Havilland.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, there was the foul initially, and then afterwards, and Dyer there just gets the ball stuck under his feet, and it flicks back into Havilland's place, and you could argue that's because of the initial foul, and it is probably correct.
Young. Tucked inside there by O'Brien Brady. Gay. Not really sticking for either team here at the moment. De Havilland. A roar from the away end, who are hoping to see their side find an equaliser here. But we have just a little over 10 minutes to go. Been pretty efficient when they've been in possession up until now. Peterborough up there as well, but just haven't had passes in threatening areas, or not enough of them anyway. De Havilland. Otto. They come back out to go forward again. Hayes. Running at Ashley Young now. Still Hayes. Floated high. Otto was waiting there, waiting for his moment, but it never came.
Yeah, Mikolenko with a vital touch there. Take it away from Otto, who's lining up for his header.
Oh, the goalkeeper, Bilakavic, has come a really long way. Breuer unable to take advantage. And perhaps a let off there for Peterborough, and Breuer has stayed down injured. So Everton playing with 10. Referee won't stop this, it's not a head injury. Everton asking for the ball to be played out, but it's Peterborough's right to play on here. And they can probably afford to just take their time here. Breuer's not coming back anytime soon. No need to rush things. Otto. Collins. Katongo. O'Brien Brady. Hayes went early. Everton will surely put the ball out of play here. But instead, Young has given it away. Peterborough can just reset and go again. Con Clark. Collins. Katongo, maybe this is the kind of advantage that Peterborough have been waiting for, and that's a great ball, and skewed wide by Lindgren. Maybe took it a touch too early there when he had time on his side.
Yeah, just a little bit wide of the goal, wasn't he? Got dragged out a little bit, maybe should have looked to try and cut it back across the face, but in the end he goes for that near post area. We see this now, the goalkeeper coming out, gets right out there. Bilakavic mistimes it, but there's really good defending in the end. Fernandez does really, really well. Not sure, we'll see it now, whether Fernandez catches Breuer as he makes that sliding challenge. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the damage is there. Looks like was he holding his leg, his ankle? Not quite sure.
Must have been an awkward landing more than anything. The contact wasn't significant, but by the body language here, it's not looking good. And I think the physio there just signalling that the change will have to be made. And for a man who's had such a rough run with injuries, it looks like for the Albanian striker things might get worse.
Yeah, it just looks like he's around his shin area. Whether or not he's felt something, he certainly is in a lot of pain.
In fact, they've got 4 medics around him already. Doesn't look good for him at all. Banging the ground in frustration. He knows surely that this is game over for him, but maybe a longer period on the sidelines. Just have another look here.
Yeah, Fernandez gets that touch. It doesn't seem to be, it's just maybe the way he lands. Doesn't seem like there's any contact from Fernandez or enough to warrant any sort of injury.
But surely the only kind of injury it could be is some kind of leg fracture there, surely, the way, or the position at least, he's holding that right leg.
Yeah, I mean, the fibula was one that the smaller of the two bones down your leg there, the one that could go. Broken it myself, but that was through contact. This one is just a bit of a twist, so that could be the one that maybe, I'm not sure, but it certainly is in a lot of pain.
Well, for an Everton side that named 2 goalkeepers on the bench, that would suggest things are a little bit light. They've already sent on Harrison, Young and Breuer. The only outfielders they can pick from are Doucouré, Lindstrom and youngster Luke Butterfield, plucked out of the under-21 side, but Breuer is going to play no further part here. And the stretcher is out for him. I think everyone who is a football fan really has sympathy for Breuer here, because a man who burst onto the scene and showed so much promise as well, looks like he's going to be set for another spell on the sidelines.
Yeah, it looks like, he's taking, what is it, like gas and air he's taking in there, so he's obviously trying to deal with some pain there, and the only thing I can think of is it, like I said, possibly a fracture of sorts.
Seamus Coleman and Leighton Baines looking behind them, and it looks like the man called for here is Jesper Lindstrom. And I think they're actually asking here, Everton, how many subs they've got left and can they make them. Well, they made 2 at once as Breuer and Harrison came on, and then sent Young on 5 minutes later, so they've got 1 substitution window left and 2 players to send on in it if they want to. Abdoulaye Doucouré is also stripped and ready. Change I don't think Everton were hoping or expecting to make, but one they're going to have to here. Meanwhile, Darren Ferguson and his staff working out how they are possibly going to force extra time out of this tie. What it does mean is that we'll have a fairly significant period of added time here. I think at the moment they're trying to put Breuer onto a platform of sorts here so that he can be carefully lifted onto the stretcher. This is really sad to see for Armando Breuer. 13 minutes he was with us before that injury. Hasn't scored for Everton yet. His last goal for anyone was for his national team, actually, against Liechtenstein back in the summer. It must have been a misplacement of that right foot as he came down on the other side of that challenge. It was ultimately done for him.
Yeah, there might have been a bit of a whack on his fibula there initially, that coming across of Fernandez, that challenge, the first contact maybe, that's caused the damage.
Well, the NHS staff there as well, he'll be heading straight off to hospital. And it's taking a lot of people to manage this situation now. Meanwhile, in these freezing conditions that we've barely mentioned yet here at Goodison, it is only about a degree above freezing at the moment. Everyone having to stand and wait. Meanwhile, Peterborough making a substitution. With just a couple of minutes to go, and they're sending on Malik Motherseal here, who actually had 3 games on trial with Everton the summer before last after leaving Chelsea. Well, Breuer is on that stretcher now. Does mean there won't be any introduction for Tyler Young, but a memorable night for him nonetheless, as Armando Breuer departs the scene in quite distressing circumstances. I'm sure Everton fans at the moment wondering whether they might see Armando Breuer again, given the fact he is only on loan from Chelsea. Jesper Lindstrom will come on for him.
Next, Everton substitution coming off, number 22, Orlando Broya, and his replacement, number 29, Jesper Lindstrom.
So double change. Mangala, the other man to make way. Doucouré comes on, one of those players who was left out of the side today. But as well, for Everton, it should be noted that whoever takes charge has got another man out injured. Calvert-Lewin already on the sidelines. They've got Garner out at the moment, McNeil, Coleman, who's managing the team, Yusuf Shimiti. Boonham also injured. When it rains, it pours, and it's looking like it's going to get worse here for Everton as Broya exits the field in the corner where the ambulance is situated. And our best wishes go to him. So we restart. There's 20 seconds to go of normal time. And as Njai goes down, it looks like he might be the furthest forward now. Probably going to have the best part of 11 or 12 minutes added on here. In 8 minutes it was the delay for that injury to Broya. To added time. Harrison. So 10 minutes of additional time. Reached the 100-minute klaxon here. Hayes with an audacious turn. Maybe not best used at this point in this kind of game with the score at this level. Peterborough have won it. Home fans thought the whistle should have gone there for a free kick. Con Clark. Peterborough have to have a go now. They've got to get more bodies forward, but their players are tiring. Hayes up against Young. Con Clark urged to shoot. Well, I think that was an attempted shot. And he lost his footing, and now he's down, I think, with cramp.
Yeah, he looked like
falling everywhere.
He looked like he was struggling just before that as well. So he gets the ball played to him, looks to play that strike off on goal, slips, and then it's just the cramp, I think, that's causing a problem for him.
They're dropping like flies at the moment. Hayes is down. Con Clark needs to have that calf stretched out. Lindgren on duty. No treatment needed. What can we say about Peterborough tonight? Can they be proud of their efforts? Did you expect a little bit more from them in an attacking sense? Yeah,
I would have expected a little bit more from them going forward. They just seem to have been almost in the mode of being happy enough that they're only 1-0 down, and expected a little bit more threat going forward. They just haven't had that run. They haven't had those opportunities that I thought they may create against an Everton side that very rarely has had to come out of second gear.
Still haven't had a shot on target since half-time. Apologies for that. In fact, in the entire game, there have only been 5, just 1 for Peterborough United. From 5 attempts overall, they've had an XG of just 0.27. It's been a pretty poor night for them, goals-wise. But they have scored 4 times in the final 15 minutes of FA Cup matches. No side has scored more in the latter stages of the competition so far this season from the first round. Katongo. Motherseal. Collins saw the pass and played it. Lindgren, the only man in the central position. Con Clark. Jadel Katongo. Tick-tock goes the additional time clock. We are 3 minutes into the 10 added. Doucouré sets it a little bit short there for Branthwaite. The crowd didn't appreciate that. To say, I'm wondering at the moment whether Everton are going to be applauded off or not, even if they win this game. They could seal it here with a second. They have won a throw.
Well, I think if they get this over the line, I think it'll be more about a sense of relief that a game that could have been, you know, considering the circumstances, could have been a lot worse. And if they can see this game out, I think they'll be just delighted to be through to the next round.
Put out there by Oscar Wilin. Doucouré. No slips now from Everton. That's their job in the time that remains. Nothing fancy or overcomplicated. They have the footballing ability to hold on to the ball now. Harris's layoff for Young. Careful, called the linesman towards Young. Warned the former England international. He was close to waving his flag, and in the end Young made it easy for him.
Yeah, it's a shove in the back, the first one. Obviously Hayes grabs hold of his shorts, and there's another sort of clipping of his legs in the end that causes the foul.
Peterborough have lost it. It was given away by Wallin, who then concedes the throw. It is going to have to be the late show here from Peterborough, if at all. Plenty were looking forward to this tie in the hope that it might provide an upset right at the start of the third round, but it doesn't look like we're going to get one here. More FA Cup action to come tomorrow night. Wycombe taking on Portsmouth of the Championship, and an old Premier League clash between Aston Villa and West Ham United, one to look forward to. Graham Potter, the new man at the helm there at West Ham, his first game in charge in the FA Cup. Cross comes in, it drifts over everyone, but the referee has blown for a free kick to Everton. A late challenge going in that the official didn't like.
Yeah, I think Fernandez, he's been beaten by Lindstrom there. Lindstrom does really well, and he's just grabbing hold of his shorts there. You can see, yeah, and it is a slightly late challenge as well. No malice in it. I think the referee was trying to play the advantage, but it was the right call.
This game not over yet. Everton do at least have a free kick here in an attacking area, though only 4 of their players inside the penalty area to attack it. 5 now. Lindstrom still feeling the effect of that challenge, but the Napoli loanee has picked himself up to take the header on. It's still in there. Is that a penalty? Yes. A nervous look towards the referee there from the Peterborough defender, and Jake O'Brien has won a penalty here right at the last.
Yeah, I think Jake O'Brien does really well. Firstly, he gets the right side. He's on goal side, and it makes it really difficult. Katonga there, you can see initially he's not even watching the ball. All he's looking at is worrying about holding on to him. In the end, it's a clear penalty.
Katonga having a hold of Branthwaite, the man who was taken down. They both had a hold of each other initially, but 2 arms wrapped around the body of the Everton defender was always going to be punished.
Well, there was just no attempt whatsoever from Katonga to go for the ball, so that makes the referee's decision really easy.
Iliman Ndiaye is going to take this penalty. Everton, one of 3 teams yet to be awarded one in the league so far this season. Ndiaye taking a rare spot kick for them here. A chance to send Everton through to round 4, which he's done. Rolled it home as Bilakapic committed to one side, and Everton are just about through to the next round of the competition.
Yeah, very good penalty, very cool, calm. Waits for the goalkeeper to make the first move, and then just calmly slots it the other way. That's what you want to see late on in the game. Experienced player, have that calmness to give you that 2-goal lead.
Well, Leighton Baines won't be celebrating too wildly after this one. Iliman Ndiaye there, who scores for the 2nd time in this competition, and looked so cool as he stepped up there. Hard for a goalkeeper who would have probably looked pretty silly had he stayed dead centre there with the game in this kind of situation. And Ndiaye looking straight at him as he rolled it to his left. too much penalty data for Peterborough to go off when researching Everton, I'm sure. Did have a shootout against Southampton in the League Cup earlier this season, but certainly no regular takers in the league. Just over a minute to go. The 5th attempt on target for Everton, 2 of which have ended as goals. Peterborough now are heading out of this competition. Their only ever visit to this stadium looking like it's going to end in defeat. And Hayes there knocking that one off his standing leg.
Yeah, but unfortunately Hayes does really well. I think he's had a pretty good game for Peterborough. It's frustration there, you can see he gets himself in a good position, looks to get that ball in the box, and unfortunately just takes a touch with his non-kicking foot that brings the ball out.
Harrison Armstrong, who we just saw a glimpse of there, has had a good evening. And a team that ultimately he didn't pick, he has managed to guide to victory. Armstrong getting the assist for the first goal for Beto. Time is up here at Goodison. It's been a chaotic day to be an Everton fan. A game that might not have happened, a game that was then on, but they lost their manager 3 hours before kick-off. But standing Leighton Baines and Seamus Coleman have managed to guide the Toffees through a game that will not be visited too